Blessings and welcome everyone here at YouTube. I'm so grateful to be with you and welcome to 4D Trinity. I am Tuesday May Thomas. Once a month on my weekly live stream, I host a show called Q&A, Ask Me Anything. We're going to go ahead and hop on Instagram land over here. I'm so very grateful to be with you all. As I was saying here to the YouTube fam, once a month here at my weekly live stream, I go live with our beautiful Ask Me Anything Q&A show where you can literally ask me anything. And I will channel your higher self for the highest good and offer divine messages. And everything is rooted in love. Everything is rooted in light. And here for your growth, your spiritual growth and your spiritual sovereignty. Ultimately, that's what we're doing here at this show. Everything that I offer, that I share, is all about us learning and understanding the invisible realm, the metaphysics of ascension, the multidimensional process of our being and becoming our higher self. So I thank you so much for being here. Welcome, and thank you for the wave here on Instagram. If you have a question, I'm gonna ramble, and I know there's one or two that have come in on the DMMs. Yes, the DMMs so far. But if you have a question, go ahead and DM it to me on Instagram, or if you're on YouTube, leave it in the comments. And you know how we do; it's a first come, first serve, and we'll get as much as we can in the hour. And I just want to thank all of the new subscribers here at YouTube. And I do want to give you a word because in this last like 4 or 5 months period, they have changed the recording, the live recording on YouTube. And I'm not sure how the quality looks right now on your end, but I went back and I looked at some of our live streams in these past month or two, and the quality is really bad. They don't let us use Google Hangouts on YouTube anymore. We have to either invest and get some gear, which I do not have, or use their just go live button. And it's not that HD quality. And so I apologize, everyone in YouTube land. I'm going to be starting a Patreon page, and with your support, getting some more gear and upgrading this whole situation so I can come to you in the light and crystal clear. So again, thank you everyone for your support. Thank you for hopping on and being a part of this divine community. This is 4D Trinity. Here, even here during Ask Me Anything Q&A, it's all about bridging heaven on earth. It's all about mastering the matrix, mastering your personal matrix, your individual matrix, and how your matrix fits in with the grid matrix of collective consciousness. It's learning how to master your time and space. And really, on this show, Ask Me Anything, listen to the higher self. I teach that the higher self is one. There is really one higher self, and it is broken up into fractals, individualized, that each of us connect with, that each of us intuit and share a divine relationship with. Yet the voice of the higher self is always rooted in love. It's always rooted in God, in source, in light, in that which is healing, and that which is nourishing, and that which is providing expanded level of awareness that serves our spiritual growth and ascension. So again, if you are hopping on, just hanging out, some people I know, some friends are like, I just tune in and listen to it like a radio show. Because there's different questions and everyone has a little something different to offer. And the answers that come through are, it's just spontaneous and specific to the individual. Yet that said, there's always something here for all of us. But if you are here to quest a question, to ask and to receive some divine counsel, I welcome you to send me a DM if you're on Instagram. And family here at YouTube, go ahead and leave your question in the comments. I'm just going to ramble for a minute or two more. We'll let a few more people hop on and then we'll get started. I'll check the DMs and whatnot. I'm so grateful. Earlier this month in February, I was a speaker and presenter at the Conscious Life Expo in Los Angeles, one of the biggest expos of spirituality, consciousness, wellness, health, healing, all of those paradigms. And it was a big initiation for me. And I know some of you actually showed up and came out, and I'm so very grateful. If you are new, again, to what I share, I know there's a bunch of new followers at Insta as well. Thank you so much. I'm working on a project, a movie project called Grid Mind Science, all about revealing the invisible realm of the matrix, all about revealing, again, everything that we share here, the metaphysics of ascension, multidimensional mastery, and healing. And I'm developing a screenplay right now with a mentor on the East Coast, and setting things up for that. And it's very exciting. But I do have a page that's more strictly metaphysics, science, and spirituality, called Grid Mind Science. And I thank you all for supporting and following over there. I know my homepage, Tuesday May Thomas, you're going to get a little bit of everything. But either way, I'm so grateful for your support and your love. If you are interested, go to my website. The link is at my bio, and later I'll put it down here in the description box at YouTube. First page of my website, there's a subscription box, and you can sign up to be a part of my community through my website and receive my monthly love letter and get information about upcoming everything that I share. So let's go ahead and hop on. I'm going to check the DMs here. And again, if you do have a question, DM me and I will be happy to be of service. So I'm going to just check in here and see what's happening. And sometimes they come in slowly, because I know if you're new and you're kind of just scoping me out, you might just kind of be like, seeing what's this whole thing about? And that's all good. That's all good. All right. So Ron is interested in developing his skills to see auras. Okay, so he feels that he has this natural ability and he's felt it, he's tapped into it here and there, yet he wants guidance from higher self on how to develop that further. So let's go ahead, and I see Jami has also left a question here. So I will get to that here shortly. And I know there's one from Nikki as well. So let's take a moment and go in, Ron, and just take a moment. This is our first little question of the morning. So I invite this beautiful collective, this beautiful community, to drop into the heart. That is where higher self speaks to us through that divine portal of the heart. So we'll drop in as a collective, as a community, to that space. And perhaps as these questions come in, and even if you're just hanging out and listening, and letting these questions wash over you, in just sitting with them and being open from your heart space, your higher self might just whisper to you your own divine guidance in these realms. So Ron, right away, there's this, what I'm seeing is I'm seeing you being invited to sit and practice mindful meditation with a candle, and to gaze softly into the candle light. This is a very powerful meditation if you've never done it before. And what I see is I see nighttime and no music, no disturbances from the outside, but just you comfortably seated, gazing with the candle. And the idea using this exercise is not to stare, is not to try to see anything, but to rather soften your gaze and allow a lightness through the way that you are looking. In fact, you're not really looking, you are gazing, you are being with vision. You're practicing to be with your absolute vision, which is beyond your mind. Because when we start to see and voyeur into these realms that are beyond the spectrum that we are trained to see, what is required for us to truly have vision and to truly see is for us to get out of the way, is for the personality of us, that version of us that thinks it has answers or that might limit answers and ideas, to just gently sit to the side, so that a widened aspect of perception that is attuned with source, with God, with love, with light, with that divine nature that is within us and all things and beings, to be expanded. And so we don't really think about looking with the physical eyes, though we use them. They are a divine instrument. But we prepare the vision through, and again, what I'm getting for you is this beautiful exercise. I've done it for years myself. you gaze at the flame, you gaze at the candle flame, and let your gaze just sit softly. Let your gaze be open to seeing without any expectation what it is that might be displayed for you. And what you'll notice is you will begin to see a glow. The first step is you start to see a glow around the candle. And eventually that glow expands and expands. And you're not trying, you're not forcing, you're not trying to make the glow expand, but you begin to see. You begin to see with vision, and that light, the energetic body of that flame begins to expand, and you begin then to see greater brightness, greater white light, and ultimately then you'll begin to see ascension colors, astral colors within that, or even at the least an iridescent aspect of all this rainbow colors of the spectrum, sort of in a shiny, hazy, sort of a fuzzy realm around that flame. And that little practice, even if you just did it for 2 to 5 minutes every night or a couple nights a week, that will strengthen your third eye. And really, because that's where we're looking from. When we do the work from a place of divinity, of intention, of being rooted in love and with light, and not just to open the third eye to play tricks or to have party tricks, but to really sincerely bridge heaven on earth, bridge that vertical access of our ability to see beyond the veils, to see beyond the 3D reality. When our intention is set in the heart, it actually gives us a broadening of vision than if we were just trying to see through the third eye alone. But ultimately, what you are doing is you are gazing with the third eye. You're using the physical eyes to strengthen the ability to gaze through the third eye. And what I will add to this little offering from your higher self is to drop into your heart upon lighting that candle. Drop into your heart, connect to your heart, and then gaze with the physical eyes, but knowing that you are triangulating on one level with the third eye, but also creating the vajra, the diamond of the third eye connected to the physical and to the heart center, and that will start to open up those channels for you. Now I see, thank you so much. Is that Champagne? Oh, it's so good to hear from you, Champagne. I love how we make friends on these beautiful platforms, and these are people we've never met. I have friends on Instagram that we've been following each other for 8 years and we've never met, but we're like family. It's so beautiful. It's so cool how the good stuff of these platforms and of this Wi-Fi and social media. There's so much love here. So Champagne, I'm going to get to your question here shortly. Let's just drop in one more second and see if there's anything else for Ron. Okay, what your higher self, Ron, is saying in closing regarding your question about developing your ability to see auras is to higher self is inviting you to intend, also to ask to be shown what you are ready to see and no more. So what I'm getting from this is this invitation of a humility, of an aspect of being humble, not forcing, not trying to not trying, not trying, but rather relaxing into it and devoting yourself to that practice. And you'll come across books, or maybe we'll bump into each other again. You'll come back next month with a question. But that little practice, I know for me as well, years ago, I started that practice. I think I was 21, a long, long time ago. And I still go back to it, and it just strengthens and strengthens. So may you see in the light, may you be blessed by the light, Ron. And thank you so much for your question. Thank you, everyone, so much for hopping on and for giving a wave over here at Instagram land. Thank you so much. Again, Instagrammers, if you have a question, DM me. And on YouTube, I see we have Champagne. So I'm going to go back and forth. That's how I do. Beautiful Champagne. So good to see you here this morning. Champagne says, I am wondering, this ex who returned after 2 years and ghosted me again 2 weeks ago, why did this happen? I feel he's a karmic soulmate and I needed to close this cycle out, but not too sure. Okay, this ex returned after 2 years and then ghosted you 2 weeks ago. Oh, that's interesting. The two and the two. And we're in the month of two in the year of 2020 in the twos. I feel he's a karmic soulmate and I needed to close the cycle out, but not sure. All right, Champagne, let's just drop in here. And connecting with your higher self. and being open to receive this divine counsel. Whoa, okay, this is interesting. Very firm right away, higher self. It says he is not your soulmate. Whoa, like that was the first thing. And what I'm getting is that higher self is saying, okay, now higher self is being very firm. They're like doing this with the finger, which is, I don't usually get that with higher self, but I think when there's a firmness, when our angels, our guides, higher self, that divine wisdom is inviting us to kind of like snap out of it, kid, they're firm with us. Higher self is firm with us. And so there's this sense of allowing yourself to consider that that is a notion that you created from a romantic paradigm of wanting this person to be what they're not. And this might, you know me, Champagne. I mean, like this is not me. Some of it's me. Sometimes my divine guidance, adds on this, but this is channeling your higher self, and it's all for the highest good. And so I'm never here to say anything mean or bad. It's just I tell it how it's coming through, and I trust and I pray that it serves. So there's this real firmness right away with higher self, where higher self is saying like, snap out of it, kid. Okay, she's saying thank you. Oh my God, really? Wow. Yes, my higher self is sassy, LOL. Right? There's sassy when it needs to be. But let's see, but there's obviously something deeper here. So let's, there's nothing nothing happens without a reason, and nothing happens without serving us and letting us serve it, and being a tool, being a seed, a stepping stone for our awareness and ascension. So let's drop in, and we'll see what else unravels here. Okay, I'm getting he is that which is a teacher, for sure a teacher. Higher self says, if he has broken your heart, let it mend. Higher self is saying, this is what needs closure. It's on your side. It's in your side of the court, if you will. If you think of it like a tennis court, the healing that is required is within your own heart. And sometimes, and now this is me adding on just from my experiences, sometimes we create fantasies about other people, relationships, situations. We create them. And we kind of create a paradigm for someone to show up in, and we hold that filter up so strong for them to come through. And even if they're not that, because our vision of wanting to see it like that is so strong, we see that on behalf of them. And then sort of the ivory tower comes crashing down when we just really suck it up and we're like honest with ourselves and we start to put the pieces together. But that's the healing, that's the closure, that's the aha. Okay, let me just see what I wasn't seeing before. And I feel like this is this aspect that's coming through, and that's why higher self is saying, like, where you might have had expectations that weren't met, where you might have had that fantasy kind of a realm of wanting someone to be what they're not, but maybe they meet all those aspects in certain realms. Or maybe we have intimacy, we have shared experiences, and we're like, no, there's something here for sure. And there is, as long as there was on those levels. Yet higher self is like, it is what it is, and it is what it was. And where the healing is on your side of it, and they're even saying forgiving him, whether it's something big or even just the little slight things. If, they call it catfishing, right? But, and not that this person, I don't get that this person was being false, and whatever you did share together, what I'm getting is that it is sincere. It was sincere. And there's lesson, there's teachings, like higher self is saying, they're a teacher. And it's a sincere exchange. Yet what higher self is urging is this, like, snap out of any fantasy you might have about this person, because that's obviously just going to withhold and block the true frequential match for you to come in. But also a part of that closure, of that closing it and allowing it to be done, is your ability to forgive, to do your closure practices on your end. Champagne, I know you left a comment. One more thing. On my YouTube, look up energy letter. I'm going to actually make a little course on it on Patreon. I'm going to set up a Patreon. I'm so excited and I've got so much to share. I really do. But there's a beautiful exercise. So look it up afterwards. where you write an energy letter to a person, place, or thing, and you say all the things you need to say. You forgive, or you tell them to fuck off, or you whatever you need to say. Um, anyway, all the instructions and the guidance is there, but I get that for you. I see that some really third dimensional practice, and you burn the letter, or you know, there's different things you can do with the letter, but some real third dimensional practice to make it so, is guided. So she says, so I called him in. So I called him in, she says. Is he going to try to return again? I know I need to set boundaries. Ugh, I'm so tired of the lessons. Okay, right away, even just in reading your question, is he going to try to get in? Yes. That's what higher self is saying. But isn't this interesting, the conversation? Because you're saying you're so tired of the boundaries of these lessons, yet that's the teaching. Excuse me. He's this great, you know, one of many, perhaps. We all have many different teachers in so many different levels. And perhaps, you know, he's one of the holders of this for you. And even that it's even coming up now is that unconscious, perhaps, part of you in realization of, like, a part of these lessons, a part of this path with this person is in creating healthy boundaries. So this is beautiful. This is huge. This is amazing. This is a wonderful time to get into this during the Mercury retrograde. Really reflect, you know, and reconsider how you've seen this person. And again, it's all a blessing. I don't get that they're mean, that they're evil, that they're bad, that they're a trickster. I don't get anything like that. It's just one of those romantic lover love things that, you know, where there's lessons. But again, um, higher self is like, don't be confused. Don't think that it's more than it is, because it is what it is. So yes, healthy boundaries, and that's going to be in service to you moving forward in more ways than one, so that it's not just about those romantic kind of mindfulness of how much we let in, how soon, or how much we share with others. But it's gonna translate into family, work, into just your energetic schism of how you interact in the world in your day to day, which is going to actually be a blessing, because now I'm getting more. Now higher self is saying, okay, now higher self is saying, and that's what it's all about. That's this dude's gift to you. If you can dig it, champagne. And isn't it funny that sometimes love does that? That sometimes that's how all this stuff works. I'm feeling to pull a little angel card for you, champagne, with regards to this situation. So what is champagne's guidance with this situation? Commitment. So commitment. And I know it might be backwards. I think the screen on YouTube is, you read it perfect, but then the screen on Instagram, everything's always backwards. And I went to the store to try to teach me how to flip it, and they're like, this phone doesn't flip. So it is what it is. Commitment. So commitment to the self, commitment in relationships, overextending your energy, knowing when to hold it, how far to extend, commitment to creating healthy boundaries, commitment to self-love, commitment to self-respect, commitment to honoring your word, to cultivating a conscious word that creates the energetic paradigms that serve you in being your truth and embodying your power and your love and your light. Commitment to, what else is there here? Commitment to closure, commitment to closing, to completing, and tying up those little loose ends. Higher self is saying of this and like relationships. So does this paradigm with this person um, reflect little filaments of relationships or lovers or boyfriends or little flings, or, you know, anything like that, that you've had an experience in the past where there might be little undone, little threads open, and higher self is saying, use this time. You can put them all in that energy letter, girl. You can put them all in there at once, or you can write them each an individual energy letter. But higher self is saying this is the perfect time. The gateway is open. We're in the retrograde, which is that perfect time to just clean up all those loose ends and make it so. So I pray that this really serves you, Champagne, and it resonates. Okay, she says, thank you so much. It sucks, but I have to grow eventually spiritually. I can see it. Perfect. Thank you. You are so welcome. You're so welcome. And you know what I say about anything here and what is channeled. I don't know. I have no preference on what happens for you, Champagne. I'm not trying to make anything happen. I'm not trying to force any will in any way with when I share on this show. And do ask me anything. Um, One thing I do know, though, is that we get what we need in those divine guidances from higher self as we need them, and they as we honor them in our own unique authentic ways and follow those breadcrumb trails that are offered. um, I don't know what's going to happen for you with this guy. I don't know what's going to happen on the other end, and I don't pretend to. So just knowing that you can take what I share or you can leave it, but it's all offered from the heart with love, and with a sincere connecting to higher self to offer these messages. So if something I share just doesn't resonate, it's all good. It's all good. I'm totally unattached and just here to share in this way. Okay, so that goes for everyone. So I'm going to hop back onto Insta and we'll check the DMs. Okay. All right. So we're going to do Jami. And I never know how to pronounce your name. I know you've offered before. You've come through on this show before. Hello, Tuesday. What would be most beneficial to focus on right now? My mind has been scattered in many different directions. Okay. What would be good to focus on right now? So right away, I'm getting your health, your body, your breath, your meditation practice. So, okay, so I'm seeing this picture of what's that, Da Vinci, the Vitruvian Man. You know that picture, that ancient drawing that is so famous, the man with the arms outstretched and the legs outstretched, and I'm getting this holistic, this sense of this mind, body, spirit, the triangulation of those aspects for you are what is guided now. And so right away they said health. What is it in your health realm, in your physical body, in your day to day? What is it in your day to day that and higher self is saying, and there's one little thing I get that's like a linchpin that can help shape shift a whole paradigm of resetting your health. And your health, our health, is directly related to our ability to hold the frequency of love and of light, to be in the world and not of it. And so where there's any sort of a discomfort or a continuing ailment or an addiction that we know is not serving us, it's going to hinder the fullness of our ability to feel in tune with the channeling of the fullness of those frequencies, and also to relax into them. I remember, on a personal note, not too long ago, a couple 4DTs ago, maybe last month, right before I was going off to do that Conscious Life Expo, I had stopped drinking alcohol. I had stopped smoking pot for months before it. I had stopped, like, I was just getting clean, clear. And I don't drink a lot and I don't smoke a lot, but these were things that higher self was coming in and being like, okay, kid, you want to be super crystal clear. You want your voltage, your frequency to just boom and ramp up for this. This is what you have to do. You have to drop, these things. And it even got to a certain point, and I only drink 1 cup of coffee generally a day, that my frequency, and I'm saying, offering this to you, Jami, and just notice if it resonates with you. Are there things that you do in your day to day that your higher self is like tapping you on the shoulder and being like, And this is just, it's just an idea. Like, do you need 4 scoops of sugar in your coffee? Can you wield it down to 2 and maybe 1? And, or can you use an alternate if you know sugar irritates your system in some way? Do you need to eat the white bread when you know your digestion just hates it? Can you shift to gluten free? There's like these little things. And for me, higher self came in and was like, you're getting fully agitated by drinking that coffee. And I was only having 1 coffee a day, but it was enough to suppress the activation, my frequency, my voltage. The aura wanted to expand to such a degree. And here's the irony, is that that 1 cup of coffee was 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 making my energy hit a ceiling, hit the roof, and it wasn't able to boom, like just really activate to its fullness. And so just using that as a paradigm, as a little story for you to consider. Is it sugar? Is it the cigarettes? Is it the whatever it might be? But is there something in your day-to-day health, in your day-to-day diet, that you can change, that you in fact already know is something that's been tapping you on the shoulder? And again, so what I'm getting is that little linchpin is going to help create a whole shift. And even deeper, there might be something where you feel really addicted, to that thing that you have to have every day. And can you start to shift that in small incremental ways, in ways that serve your frequency shifting? And you can take baby steps. You don't have to do it all unless your higher self comes in and is very firm with you, and you're ready to take the bait and take that leap. But you can also say, okay, higher self, how else can I do it? That's what I've learned. And higher self will meet you where you're at always. But let's see. Let's go in here. So we have health. What is it in the daily routine that's ready to shift, even in a small, small way? Because again, this is a holistic channel here where I'm just seeing that Vitruvian man, that holistic mind, body, spirit, this triangulation of energies. And how can you, okay, so what higher self is saying, what can you do on a day-to-day basis to help shift each one of those paradigms for yourself, even in the smallest of ways? So, okay, so we have the health and then the body. So I get exercise. What exercise do you do? And you don't have to write me, but these are just offerings. What exercise do you do? What exercise do you want to do? It feels like there's something that you've been wanting to do that you haven't done yet, or maybe you've only dipped your toe in a little bit, but it's something that is actually very intuitive for you. I don't know if it's like Tai Chi or yoga. It feels that it's body, mind, spirity, that it's not so much like boxing, although that can be body, mind, spirity too. But it feels like it's something more feminine, that will balance and enhance that intuitive faculty in you. And higher self is saying to go in, to let yourself, even if you start watching videos on it more, you start doing, like, taking a fractal of that practice and starting to incorporate that breath work, or that little movement, or that one stretch, or whatever it is that is calling you. But this is a way that your body is seeking to help create the correct conditions for its transformation, so it can align and connect, with the change you're making health wise in your day-to-day diet. So let's see. Okay, so that's the health, that's the body. So now the mind, the spirit. Let's see what else wants to come up for you. They're saying pull a card. So let's go ahead. So with regard to Jami and this holistic guidance from higher self that's encouraging, Jami is saying, what guidance, what is here for me now? And higher self is speaking to this mind, body, spirit paradigm, and activating a greater awareness of enabling the full power of your holistic alignment to take place. Openness. Okay, this is beautiful. So this openness, again, there's this sense, like that little story with the caffeine I was sharing, that when when there are these day-to-day things that we do, the cigarettes, the pot, the alcohol, the just whatever it is, the cocaine, I don't know. And I'm not saying that you do that, but I've worked with a lot of people, and there are things that become very natural for us, that might have been a big deal at once, but then that daily waking and baking, or that daily hitting of the coke, or that daily, and it might sound ridiculous to others that are just really health freaks and never do all that stuff. or the 8 cups of coffee becomes normal. There's these things that become very normal to individuals. And again, or that 4 scoops of sugar in the coffee, whatever it is. But again, and then it's that mindfulness and it's that shifting, making those little shifts, and how that allows your energy body to heal. It allows your physical, your mental, emotional continuum to shapeshift and to heal and to bridge a new frequency through you. And what is it? Mind, body, spirit activation, connection, alignment is about being open. It is about being an open channel in tune for source, God, love, light to channel through us, to allow us to experience peace, to allow us to experience our fullness, our full voltage, our full power and authority, and that being just the experience of being in that greater field of love, in that greater field of love. So openness is the word for you, Jami, and I pray that that serves you. Let me just keep an eye on the time. Okay, so I pray that that serves you. Open. So what is it? Diet that will help you feel more open, right? And you know what it is for you. And if you don't just yet, it'll come a little later, or maybe in your meditations. What is it for you that will help your energy, your body, your mind, your spirit, your emotional, things where there's triggers or attachments, just feel more open, softer, more receptive. Again, that divine feminine. When there's a lot of influence of the addictions, or the things in our diet that block just our healthy digestion and assimilation of just the foods that we take in, that creates a stagnancy, and it creates again, it just creates extra work for our body, for our mind or emotions to process. And so that takes up a certain amount of energy, whereby we could actually be learning how to harness that greater frequency within us, if our body doesn't have to process all that stuff. So, okay, so mind, body, spirit. Again, what is it that's calling you to start learning, to start training? It could be archery, it could be uh, it could be wild, it could be whatever it is. I don't know. Hula hooping. I'm laughing, but you know what I mean. Like, I have no idea. I don't get a download for that. But I pray that that really serves you, Jami. And I thank you for your question. Thank you so very much. So again, if you're just hopping on Insta, welcome, and thank you for all of the waves and all the love here. I'm so grateful for all the new followers. If you're new to me, Tuesday, every week I go live on Instagram and on YouTube with my show 4D Trinity, where we bridge fourth dimensional consciousness. That's the consciousness of the heart center. We bridge that through creating unity of mind, body, and emotions with spirit. Now, I do have an announcement. Next week, I'm going to be in Mexico boating with the gray whales. Woo! I'm so blessed. Feel so excited about that. I'm actually, that takes place on Thursday. I don't know if I'll pop in with a little live hello or something, but we will not be having 4D Trinity next week because I'm going to be away. So we will resume with our regular programming, talking about metaphysics, science, and spirituality, and all this good multidimensional ascension practices the following week in March. But what I will say is, once a month, and I was exploring this on my other page. Thank you for following. If you follow Grid Mind Science, my movie project that I'm working on. But I had started doing it a couple months ago, where every week I was facilitating a live meditation through Grid Mind Science. And I did that, and then my expo was coming up, and it was just kind of an experiment. And now what the guidance is to come back in, and on Monday nights, the first Monday of the month, to share a half an hour mindfulness meditation practice at Grid Mind Science, live on Grid Mind Science. So that will be happening. And that's kind of a little extension of this 4DT show that I share. So that will be happening this Monday. I think it's going to be March, right? Because I think Saturday we have a leap year, February 29th. So it'll be March 1st or 2nd. But this coming Monday, mindful meditation practice from 7:30 to 8. At Grid Mind Science live, and I'll do that on YouTube as well. I'm soon going to get all this hooked up on Facebook, so stay tuned. So let's get back into the questions. Again, if you have a question, we've got about 20 minutes left. So if you are on Instagram and you have a question, go ahead and DM me. If you're on YouTube, leave your question in the comments, and I'm just going to, hey, blessings. Thank you for joining, everyone. Thank you for giving a wave. So good to see you here. Ah, okay. Jami says, thank you. I've been fighting a smoking addiction for many years. You know, I hear you, man. The smoking of all things, you know, it's a big one. Being able to take the breath in and out. And that's interesting because I think higher self at one point, Jami said, spoke about the breath, right? That it's really important. And soon, you know, as I said, I'm going to be setting up a Patreon, and I've never done it before, so it's going to be an adventure. But I do have so much to share, and there's a really powerful breathing exercise that I do every morning with pranayama, facing the sun, um, Kapalabhati and Bastrika, if you guys know what that is. If not, soon I will be sharing it. But man, it clears those lungs out and gets that vital creation of the correct conditions for the vital life force to flow through us. And it actually strengthens that lung chi, right? Really, really powerfully. And I know I smoke too. I smoke too. And for many, 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 many years. And it has been a very slow shifting from back in Ireland where I grew up. I smoked packs and packs and packs of the heavy, hard ones. Puff, puff, puff. And then, you know, besides other things I was puffing. And then, you know, just getting into the spirituality, cleansing, becoming a Reiki teacher, you know, just healing my own life and the shape shifting of how that's shown up. But I was also a rock and roll singer for many years. And so there were lots of late nights and drinks and smokes. And, you know, it's just we do our best. We listen, we practice self-love and self-care, and we practice strengthening our willpower in this 3D with this 3D vehicle. So be gentle on yourself, but also know that you can do it, especially when you're called to do it. That means this goes for all of us here. When you're called to make a shift in a daily addiction or something, and you honor it, the grace will be there with you. The power, the strength will be there for you to carry you. Because if you're guided, there is something there for you. And that is the willpower that will help you carry through. And you won't have the craving. Or if you do, it won't be so intense because you're listening. And everything is about divine timing. And what is divine timing? It's when we listen to higher self, right? And when we honor that. And I think I see, let me check here on YouTube. Yes, April. Oh, sister, I miss you so much. April, if I may, she's here, just said hi on YouTube. I know, sister, that you said that you just dropped caffeine, like you dropped coffee, and it was just this like thing, and you knew it was time and you dropped it, and then it was gone, and you don't even have the craving. So it can happen. The miracles can happen. Okay, so let's get back in. I know that Nikki had left a question. Let's see. Okay. Okay. How do you forgive someone and be in the highest light when you know they are lying and being dishonest? It's a business thing. I need to not let it bring me down, but I also do not want to be taken advantage of. Okay. How do you forgive someone and be in the highest light? So right away, just from me, and of course, we're going to drop in deeper with higher self here. And higher self is always here, but just my initial response is when you forgive, you are in the highest light. When you forgive, you are in the highest light. That practice bridges grace for you, for the other person, and it creates a very powerful paradigm through which greater grace can channel through. So it's beautiful that it's almost like the answer to your question is within your question. So just right away, that beautiful, gentle, yet so very powerful power of forgiveness is that first step, is what bridges your grace, and is how you remain in the highest light, is by being rooted in the heart, rooted from that space. And it's that forgiveness paradigm where you really, really mean it. where you really, really intend to let that shit go. Like really, really, and under grace for your, in the highest frequency that you can hold and be, and with the greatest impeccability and sincerity, not just going through the motions of like, I know I need to forgive this person, so okay, they're forgiven, which is like a baby stepping stone, which is okay, we get there. However we get there. But forgiveness is such a powerful paradigm, and I've done some shows back. You know what I realized? We actually have over 100 4DT shows. I just missed that. I wanted to do like a big like woohoo 100, but we're past it. So thank you, dear community, for being with me. But I know if you go in the search bar at YouTube and type in forgiveness, there's several shows on it. Metaphysically, it is the most powerful practice that we can do. And I know there's more to your question, which we'll divine in messaging for you here shortly. But forgiveness is the most powerful metaphysical practice we can do, because it instantly delinks us from the perceptions that we've gathered and garnered and that we are projecting towards someone. And there's this paradigm, as you may know, I'm a Course in Miracles student. And what here's the kicker with the Course in Miracles and how they talk about forgiveness is that the things that we think happened, the things that we think need forgiving, actually never happened. What? I know. On the 4D level, in the heaven on earth frequencies, they never happened. It's all a part of the simulation. It's all a part of the holographic reflection of the grid matrix of our thoughts, of the energy dynamics of egos at play in the third dimension. And that it's actually on a high level, there's actually nothing to forgive. But that takes a lot to get to that point, right? But that's just a deep little snippet insight for you, Nikki, just to start marinating in. First of all, I'll have a sip of tea and then we'll go back into your question, because this is deep, this is juicy, and I feel that it speaks to so many of us. Forgiveness is such a powerful way to drop judgment. And judgment is what binds us. And sometimes we don't even know that we're judging. And even if they, did us wrong, and really, sincerely, what if if a person, did something to take advantage of us, did something to steal from us, or did something to hurt us, or, if it looks like that, um, still, if we see it, here's the kicker though, if we see it like that, and initially we might, because that's the 3D reality. But if we continue to perpetuate seeing it that way, we are actually casting judgment. And I know this is a very, for some people are like, we get it right away. But this teaching, that paradigm of considering a much broader perspective of how this stuff works energetically is so very powerful, because as long as we uphold the judgment of the way that we think things went down, you hurt me, you took advantage of me, you did me wrong. Um, as long as we hold that up, we are the ones holding it up, and we are the ones at effect of how we are perceiving and thinking about things. And so, again, like I was talking to Champagne earlier, it's, even if they did something to you, it's because you're feeling it, and because you're seeking a way to complete and have closure and to clarify it, then it's on your court, right? It's on your side of the court, so to speak. And so you get to do the work. And obviously you're asking the question, so you are willing to do the work. Sometimes the messages, how they come through, are perhaps different than how we might expect them to come. But this is a very powerful paradigm if you can resonate with this, because judgment, even when they messed you over, even when they did something that was so obviously like to trip you up, or to just be a jerk about something, or, whatever all that stuff is, if we can hold space of non-judgment in those places, number one, you are free. You're back to resetting your sovereignty. Number two, you are not connected to that person through those grids of polarity that would have you be bound to the gravity of the situation and carry it wherever you go throughout your day. Because we all know, if there's something that's unresolved, if there's something we're walking with, and for sometimes, right, there's millions of things, from childhood that we walk with. But even those little things like at work or in a relationship or the, your friend or your roommate, those little things, or the guy at the bank, whatever all those little things are that we can get triggered, that we can get pissed off about, we can, or where there's a very obvious, like they're trying to screw me over thing, and how do you navigate that? First of all, use your vision, use your third eye, your heart center vision, your vertical access vision, your holy grail hologram vision to see beyond what the horizon, what the horizontal eyes would have you see, outside of the realm of judgment. So that's the first practice, is getting out of seeing that this person fucked you over or that they did you wrong. Even if they did, your Jedi move on your side is to know that you're unfuckable with. No one can really harm you. No one can really take advantage of you, really. But only to the degree in the third dimension that we continue and I say this with love, and I'm not saying that you're doing this, but just on a general speaking about these ideas, only to the degree that we continue the power play of those situations, then do they have power. Let me check the time. Okay, we have 10 minutes. So, and I think there's, if there is one other question, I'm not sure. Let me just double check. Okay. Oh, there's one request. So maybe there is. Okay. So let me get into this, finish with this, and then there'll be that one more question, unless April has something and she's just here to support. Okay. Yes, you are unfuckable with. She says, thank you for reminding me. Okay, so getting back in here, Nikki, let's get in here. Let me just review, because I know there is one question from Lisa Lou, which we will get to, and that might be our last one, friends. So let's come back in on this forgiveness on this. Okay. How do you forgive someone and be in the highest light when you know they are lying and being dishonest? It is a business thing. I need to not let it bring me down, but I also don't want to be taken advantage of. So what I'm getting from your higher self, call them out. Call them out. And you see, the power of calling people out can be done under grace and without bitchiness and without righteousness, but with Jedi-ness, if you will. Yet that Jedi powerness of that paradigm where you're able to stand in your full power and authority with your throat chakra fully activated and your heart on fire, blazing. And I know I did that kind of, but that's the flame, the sacred flame that we get to stand in when we face the bully, when we face the people that are attempting to infringe in our field or in our situations. Yes, we get to ultimately on that 4D heaven on earth level, it's not really happening. It's never happened because there's no time and space, there's only now. Yet on this 3D level, we get to learn how to master the matrix. We get to learn how to master our energy body and the divine continuum of space that we walk with. And that is the practice. Yet when you forgive, when you stand, so this is what your higher self is guiding. Your higher self is saying, call them out. Yet again, like the stuff we just talked about, when you do that, make sure, excuse me, that you are set in the heart, in that sacred flame blazing, that you are coming from a place of your higher self and without judgment. So there's no sticky icky for them to tar body stick their energy into. So you get into that codependent where you're just flicking tar and shadowy energy back and forth. But when you really are rooted in your power and you stand there and with love blazing and without judgment and without trying to be right and making them wrong, but you just call them out and see it for what it is. Boom, powerful. One little energy exercise for you, and then we'll do that last question. Excuse me. Is white wall of fire. White wall of fire. So, and this goes for any of us if you have this situation, white wall of fire, you just imagine, you take 2 seconds and you imagine a beautiful white wall of fire, a round white wall of fire, radius about 2 or 3 feet around your whole aura, just going up, 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 up to the heavens. And it is a white wall of fire. That white wall of fire helps to create perfect, pure vision, perfect, clear vision. So you can see the reality of what's happening to you in this third dimension, but without bringing your polarity, without bringing your judgment. So you just see through the veils. I pray that serves you, Nikki. Thank you so much for your question. It was a really, really, I mean, they're all good, right? I feel like we all relate on some level. So here we go. We have a few more. We have about 7 minutes. So let me get into Lisa Lou's question. Was wondering if you see me in relationship anytime soon. Been single for 3 years. You're not alone, honey. You are not alone in that. Okay, so let's drop in Lisa Lou and let's see what higher self has to say. Higher self is saying, I'm just going to tell it like it is, Lisa Lou. Higher self is saying, no, you still have work to do before you meet your perfect match. So let's see, what does that mean, higher self? How can we explain this deeper? Higher self is saying there is still a component of self-love that gets to be put in place, but it must be conscious. You have to know what it is and practice it, build the synaptic connections, build that self-love musculature to connect the dots of unification within that will create a coherent light source of your being that will activate you in the frequency of love so that you create the correct conditions to have that reflected to you through the divine beings that will be drawn to that flame of your love. So, self-love, self-love. And it makes sense. It's like all the old stories and paradigms, right? They always tell us they always tell us that you need to love yourself first before others can love you. And but what I am getting also from higher self is it's like you're not far away. There's this, and you have been doing your work. I fully get that you've been working on yourself in this 3 years. And I also get that you've needed this break. You've needed this break, girlfriend, even though it's like 3 years, in the 3D timeline. It's like, really, it's nothing. And this has been the perfect arc of spaciousness for you to get to know who you are again. So that's what I get. Now I'm guided to pull out the Osho Zen Tarot for you we'll go in a little deeper, but let's see. Yeah, you've needed this break. This has been important for you to get to know who you are again after your last relationship, and for your energy to reset in a more honest, sincere, clear way. This is about self-respect. So how can you care for yourself more? How can you practice more self-love? What is it? What is that paradigm that what is it for you? You know what it is. I'm just asking you. So to inspire the little tingle of awakening of the answers within you, because you know the answer. You already know what's missing in a way of how and what you get to do to foster greater self-love. So again, the idea is no, it's not time just yet, but it doesn't mean that it's far, far away either, Lisa Lou. It means that that it could happen at any time, yet you getting right with you. And look at, okay, so right now, here's the card. Okay, so there's some stress going on. I don't know if it's stress regarding this situation where you're kind of like ready. Sometimes we feel like, I'm ready already. When is it going to happen? And we kind of want to force it to happen and make it happen quicker. Yet what's happening is that stress, and maybe it's not with relationship. Maybe there's a different area of stress in your life that is seeking resolution or that is requiring, your attention. Either way, there is a postponement. So this speaks to, again, you're like, is it going to happen? And higher self is like, not just yet. And so this card speaks to that postponement of, you can of course go out to the bars, you can meet some boys, you can hang out, you can meet someone flirty and have fun. Yet I think what I'm getting, the level that you're ready to be met at though, is beyond that. And this postponement and you asking the question today is in service to you going that little bit deeper, turning that corner a little bit more. And what was the other card that came? Aloneness. You're still on your journey, hun. You're still on your journey of healing and repair. And I know, well, yes, but I feel what I see is like you're 90% healed and repaired. And there's that 10% that is seeking just that, like, that there's something about you that you still get to get, that you know, but there's but it hasn't fully like synced in. Again, they're showing me like synaptic, synaptic connections. Thank you for the love. I love getting love. I love being loved. I love being loved, and I love loving. So thank you for the love, the little love hearts on Instagram. So let's see if there's anything else, because I know that Instagram Live is going to be going down here in just a minute. What else is there for Lisa Lou? So again, thank you for supporting everyone. Oh, letting go. You get to let go. You get to let go, Lisa Lou. You get to come back to innocence, so that your transformation can happen. There you go. Blessings. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Go to my website. Link is in my main page profile, Tuesday, May Thomas. Sign up for my monthly love letter. I'll be sending out my monthly newsletter this weekend. I'm so grateful for your support, for being here. Thank you, everyone, for all of the love. I love and bless these communities. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful, everyone out here in YouTube land, Champagne in April. Thank you for hopping on. Namaste, whole and dear divine community. Again, there will be no 4DT next week. I'm going to be in Mexico with the whales. So we will resume the following week. But I will be doing first Monday of the month, this coming Monday, mindful meditation practice from 7:30 to 8 p.m. So check that out. It'll be on YouTube and on Instagram. Much love, everyone. Blessings.